Now, after that, it gets assigned to a supplementer, right? Some people want to think of this as like a negotiator, but I do not like that term. We do not negotiate, right? So it's more like invoicing, right? Or invoice management is actually what we call it. But so that professional would be assigned the claim or the file, if you will. And now what they have at their fingertips, brothers, they have the Google Drive folder with all the photos and drone footage. They've got the original insurance estimate. They've got our estimate. They have all the CRM data, right? They could contact the sales rep if they need to. They can contact the inspector if they need to. They can contact the person who wrote the estimate if they need to. But then at that point, and they also have access to the email that was sent to the insurance company. So at that point, it's, hey, call the insurance company and find out, hey, calling about the estimate that we submitted on such and such, and calling to see if you've reviewed that yet, and if not, want to see what we can do to get you to get it reviewed.
Hey, Jim.
Hey.
How's it going, man?
I'm good, brother. How about yourself?
All right, just, hanging out at home, self-quarantining.
Yeah? How's that going? Are you in Dallas?
No, not right now. So I'm kind of like in a limbo, transitional stage. I started the job down, and I was out there last week, but they're flying me back and forth 2 times a month. And I drove back actually this past weekend just because everything that was going on and whatever, and they let me stay home. Their policy is telecommuting and everything like that. So
Sure.
They let me stay here for the time being. I'm doing supplementing, so I can do it remotely anyway.
Yeah.
I've just been watching videos and working through Xactimate and AccuLinks and all the other different programs and everything that they use.
Sure. Yeah, it seems like I was telling some other folks this just earlier today, is that supplementing, there's never been a better time to get your supplementing in order, right?
Right.
I mean, So it seems like, and so I think you wrote that, is that you handle all their supplementing for a pretty good sized company in Dallas, right? So you handle the supplementing for all of their reps then, basically, for the whole company.
Not on the commercial side, just for the residential, which residential they just started doing about 3 or 4 years ago. And I don't even know, so it sounded like on the commercial side, I don't even know if they do a whole lot of insurance claims. I'm not too sure. I just don't know about the commercial side a whole lot yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I would definitely be interested in the commercial side.
Sure.
Because they are humongous and they have a lot.
Yeah. Well,
insurance work. Maybe I can get my foot in the door over there. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think I hear a lot from a lot of the commercial guys. That's the thing, is that they actually say that they're, they say that their problem is that they don't have any insurance claims. Like, they're all cash deals. Well, one of the reasons for that is because the deductibles on that side of things are so much more significant, a cash deal, than to use the insurance company. When all actuality, usually on just like a flat roof, for example, you typipally have multiple layers that's underneath there that also has to be dealt with, and then the underlayment, the underlayment, the decking itself, interior, usually those things are a lot more lucrative than what the contractor even realizes if they're not familiar with the insurance side of things.
Absolutely. I can only imagine, as far as a residential roof goes, there's not a whole lot of elements to it. But once you get into those flat roofs on the commercial jobs with the scooters, or and the concrete lightweight decking, and I mean just everything that goes along with it.
Sure.
It has to be lucrative. I mean, just millions of dollars worth of projects.
Sure. So what can I help you with, brother? Like, what's your goal? What are you looking to accomplish with me?
Yes. So working through Xactimate, that's something that I can do, right? I don't know. I'm pretty tech savvy and everything like that. My main objective is the language, terminology, getting supplements approved, documentation that's needed. Where to put it in the scope, where to, if I'm attaching PDF files or if I'm attaching it to the actual scope, just what documentation I need, just getting that money paid for, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And the best way to go about it.
And let me ask you this. So the company that you work for, are they paying for your training?
Yes.
Okay. So that's a key question for me, because like in my mind, I do a lot of company training, right? And there's a company like yours, I might go in, and I don't know how many people you guys have, but if there's 50 people, I could go in and train everybody, but or I could go and train the execs. Like, we go in and take essentially, like, it's almost like an investigation at the beginning, because we take all of the details of how they currently run the business, right, and try to figure out first what all the problems are, what are the pain points, and then customize an approach from there, right? Sorry, I'm dropping my stuff here. But for you, you're the only person in the company handling it, right? So you're not trying to get training for everybody else. It's just for yourself, right?
No, I want to be a desired asset to the company, not expendable. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And just make my position. I don't know. Like, I'm developing the position for the company. They had a remote company, off-site company doing it before, third party, and I'm kind of the guy. I'm going to be. Like I said, I don't really have any experience with Xactimate, but I have experience with working with insurance adjusters and supplements and things like that. And I just got supplements paid for through my estimates, my bid items and things like that, and working with the insurance and adjusters just to get it done.
Sure.
But now I'm getting into the more, professional, commercial side of things. Well, I would say commercial, but it's definitely more professional than what I had going on, So.
Then let me ask you, Tony, if I could. You have you're handling the residential side of things. How many jobs do you think they currently do, before all of this crisis hit, like per month?
500 residential roofs.
I'm sorry?
400 to 500 residential roofs.
Per month?
A year.
Okay, per year. So, all right. Okay, so you have quite a few. How many sales reps do they have to
10.
To process all that? 10. Okay. So, all right. The other thing I want to think of is, who's doing all the inspections?
The salespeople.
The salespeople.
Yeah, and they don't have. So, and that's another thing. I need direction for the staff or the sales guys. They take pictures, and they're supposed to have the chalk with them, and they go to the adjusters' appointments. But none of these guys, they're all super green for the most part. They don't know construction for the most part, or what a roof is, just the different pieces of a roof. It's not just shingles. And then their main concern, they don't want to be the general contractor on the deal. They just want to get in, get the roof, and get out. But they want to get as much money as they can.
Imagine that, huh?
So, and to me, that's counterproductive. You know, because you want to get everything, good inside the house and take pictures of the ceilings and then see if there's any damage to the attics and the siding and the windows and the yada yada yada.
I agree.
And to me, that's the only way you're going to get overhead profit.
Okay, look, brother, I can, and you could tell me more, I'm sure, but I've heard this story 1,000 times over the past 10 years. You know what I mean? And so, but here's the deal: is like, I have absolutely lived this problem and lived trying to solve it. Like, I feel like for such a great, chunk of my life. And what I mean is, I have decided after 10 years, so I spent just a little bit about, I don't know how much you know about me, but I spent 10 years as a general contractor in the insurance restoration space, and I started in sales and roofing, and I went through a whole bunch of hurricanes, and I kind of done it all as far as the different types of jobs. But then about a decade ago, I got into the consulting space, full time. I got rid of my company and became a full-time consultant and jumped into the estimating and supplementing space. I started an online virtual estimating company before there was any. Now there's a whole bunch of those. And then I recently sold it, actually. But for the first 6-7 years of that, it was all virtual, all of it, right?
Right.
And then I discovered that, at first it was just estimate writing, and then we handled the supplements. And then I discovered that I could not, no matter what I ever did, I could not get the sales reps to get me the right documentation, from all the different contractor clients that I had, no matter where it was in the country, with very, very, very few exceptions. And so, I can do a better job of writing the estimate if I have better pictures and more documentation, more information, right? But that's just one part of it. Everybody always thinks, you get the better estimate you write, then the better success you're going to have. Sure, there's some element of truth to that, but the ultimate truth, like you were saying, you're looking for wording and different things. Look, the honest to God truth is that you, more than anything, you need evidence, documentation, and proof, right, of why those things are in the estimate. And that's why you really need, so you need the photos to be able to see, yes, how many pipe jacks are on the roof, that kind of thing, you need that. But more importantly than that, you need it to be able to prove to maybe an inside desk adjuster one day who's going to be reviewing this, it's never having been there before, right? And that's the real challenge. That's why I started my YouTube video or channel, dude. That's why I started it, because I had this frustration of, I was trying, and I had a guy in San Antonio that had a bunch of sales reps. He's like, hey, can you make a video to show my guy? And that's where it all started. But even then, and all these videos I've made, it's still not working. It's it's not working. You know what I mean? It's not. Yeah. And so that, but
see the damage. We got to be able to see what's been replaced, and it's hard to get a salesperson to freaking even put. Go out and knock a door.
Yeah, I mean, it's so your big challenge, and I already know this, after actual trial and error, because that's me. I'm a numbers guy. I figure out, I'm stubborn like that. I've figured out way too hard, where it's taken me way too long to do it, but all because I had to go and figure it out on my own, and ram my head up against the wall. But but through that process, man, I've learned all this stuff. And so I think now that's why for the past 3.5 years, I started going out on the road and just doing it myself. I got rid of everybody that was doing the virtual stuff for me, and I wouldn't take another job. I had hundreds of inquiries coming in, and I just said, well, I'll just take the best ones, and I'll go out and physically inspect it myself, physically, and do all that. But I'm stubborn. That's not a scalable process, right? And what you're inside of is a scalable process, right?
The more I do, the more I make. The more they sell, the more potentially I could make, you know?
Right. You have to keep the all the madness going. You have to keep all the madness going, but you got to figure out how to
Rein in there.
you must, man. I mean, look, the way I see it, honestly, the good news is you're probably, without you maybe even knowing it, without your company knowing it, without all the sales reps knowing it, you could be potentially the single most valuable asset within the company right now and over the next maybe even year and beyond, right? Like you could be that person. It could be that important, okay? So,
absolutely.
So look, and what I mean by that is, so like, now I'm going to go right into the prescription for you. If you call me, I'm the doctor, right? I'm going to give you a couple.
I know you, Mr. Practitioner.
Like, I'm going to give you a couple different prescriptions, honestly.
All right.
I think that to fix this problem, because it's and not really a problem, but to conquer this, right? It's a good problem. But if I'm you, and I had the ability to just make whatever decision that I felt comfortable with, right? Like I had the ability to go in whatever direction I decided was best, which I don't believe that's the case, you know. But I'm saying, if you could decide what's best, and if I'm you, then I believe that the sales reps should no longer do any of the documentation and the inspection. Like, I think they should do a walkthrough inspection, because I think if done properly, that would help them actually sell the deal. It would help them land the job if they knew how to do a proper inspection, a walkthrough with the client, right?
Yeah.
The challenge to that is changing from your going in and doing a 15 to 20 minute meeting and selling it and leaving, and changing that into a 2.5 hours. You know what I mean? That's very difficult to do. However, I've done this with other clients of mine and other training that I've done. We've done this successfully, and I've done it internally, where I think what you do, the easiest thing to do, is to completely, especially since you have so many reps, you have to go, if you're going to have the reps do the inspections, then you would need to certify each rep and how to do the inspection properly, and then count on them to do it. It's just not going to happen. It'll cause too many problems within the company right now to make that significant of a change, right?
Oh man, yeah.
So
it's always a pain.
Right.
Any type of change and anything that they have to do that's extra is going to get friction.
Right. And so I think instead of the friction, and see, I don't know. Let me ask you. The model that you guys are using for the sales reps, are they also being the project managers and doing like a profit split? Okay, good.
No, not at all.
Good.
So we got sales manager, we got project managers, and then the GM.
That's great. That is fantastic. Like, because I actually don't like that model. Like, and the reason is because I think the sales rep should be selling.
Yeah.
I think the project managers should be managing.
Got it.
Right? Like, because if you're a sales rep who has to manage, then you're not being as good of a sales rep as you could be. Like, you could maybe be only at like 30 to 50% of your capacity. And also, the flip side of that is that if you are a project manager and you're trying to sell, you're not a very good manager, because you have to run leads, right? You have to run sales calls. And so you have to leave the job, and then it doesn't get managed. And so that's good. That's great news that they're not managing it, right? And so for that reason, all the more reason why they should also not be supplementers. They should not be, estimate writers. They should not be really inspectors. Yes, meet with the adjuster when, like on field adjusters and things like that, and they can be brought up to speed easier on how to do field adjuster meetings. I actually think field adjusters are pawns. I don't think they should show up with estimates or anything like that. No, but look,
no men, instead of yes men, they're no men.
Yeah. But look, so the sales reps go out, do the walkthrough, sell it, and then you have a handing off process. Once the deal is actually signed, and it's been determined that it's a valid project, it's a valid claim, okay?
Yep.
And there's a claim and all of that, then I believe that it should be handed off to a dedicated inspector, okay? And I'm just going to play out a couple scenarios for you. One is where you have a dedicated inspector. That inspector now gets the file, like you hand the ball off to the inspector. They get the file. Their job is to go out and conduct a detailed property damage inspection. Like very thorough, like the roof, just like you said, all exterior elevations, all other structures, every room, closet, and hallway on the inside, the attic, et cetera, right? Now, I think because you have 10 reps probably, what would you think they're averaging, about 2 to 3 projects per week for the most part, most of them?
It's a slow time right now, but I mean, they're still selling quite a few, getting contingency contracts, and they haven't, let's see, they did about 3 or 4 last week, and this week is definitely slow. Everything is just it's almost just grinding to a halt.
Sure.
They're still definitely out there working. I know that Texas just they got shut down or something.
Yeah, all the restaurants, the dining rooms got shut down, bars, schools, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, and it's just going to get worse, brother. We're going to just brace yourself, right? We're going to have to find ways of adapting, which I believe is absolutely possible. I think one of the things we've got, I have a video I just made actually of five things that contractors need to be doing during this time, right? And it covers all that. But one of those is supplementing, and another one is training, right? Like this is like a unique opportunity for us to be able to do that. But all right, now look, let's get back to this. So you've got, because of the volume, if you had 2 to 3 on average per rep, right, that is selling per week, and there's 10 reps, then you're looking at 30 to 50 jobs. There's
394 active jobs, 191 leads. 30 prospects.
Okay. My point is, and sorry to cut you off, is that there's no way that one inspector could be able to handle all of that. And so that's why I didn't right away give you a scenario, which is also an available scenario. If it was smaller, if I'm talking to a guy right now that there's just a couple sales reps, right? And you're dealing with all this, because I deal with people like that too. You're dealing with all the estimating and supplementing for just those handful of people. Then I would say to you should be the guy like I was doing. You should go out yourself, inspect it, do the estimate, handle the supplement 100% on your own. But that's not possible. So we have to be realistic. You're not going to do a good job if you are going to handle all that. And along those lines, now we have to create a position within the company that is an inspector, and the reality is he's not going to be able to handle it. And so you need a lead inspector, and then that guy's got to get started and is going to have to start to train others. You see what I mean?
Yeah, that's where I'm coming in for sure. That's we're making this from the ground up, this position in the company, Yeah,
and so I think, listen, man, this part of this is, and I don't know the company that you're working for, but I'm saying, like, I don't know the people that are running it, but I think it's very crucial. Like, they may not understand like you understand when you start laying it out, like, hey, we got to go hire this guy, create a position, and then we have to go create more positions and all that. But if you're able to capture their attention long enough for you to play out the numbers for them, dude, I mean, these inspectors and everything pay for themselves. The numbers you're talking about, and the volume you guys are doing, like, it's not just optional, it's required, it's mandatory that you do this. You see what I mean? Like,
you don't make any money unless you get it.
I almost think it's like a dereliction of duty if you don't do this right. So you got to get an inspector in there to do the on-site inspections. Like, you have to have an inspection. You have to build up. You could start with one, and with your help too, but you have to start with one, and then you build up to add a second and then a third, which that's good. I mean, there's going to be a lot of available people looking for work these days. And along that line, like the video I was just talking about, one of the things is we have to continue to work, but let's go ahead and adapt to the environment. Meaning, look, we're essential business people. Like, this is an essential business, like essential service. Like, yeah, like when there's a hailstorm, these people are going to need us no matter if the places like California and New York locked down yesterday. Like, mid-lockdown's not the right word, but stay-at-home order, right? Like, that's coming here too. We might as well just get realistic. But when that order comes in place, I'm going to still be driving down the road in my truck. You know what I mean? Like, because that's an essential service. I would put some decals on the truck that says disaster response. You know what I mean? Like it's an essential service. You know, like no matter what is going on. I've been out in a lot of curfews after hurricanes and things like that. So it's not as essential as medical and food, obviously, right? Like we don't take precedence over those folks, but it is an essential service. We're gonna have to find ways to continue forward. But hey, man, like I do a lot of like takeouts and stuff at restaurants, and I notice like I'm concerned about this stuff. I'm taking all the precautions, and I noticed, a few days ago I would go to get the takeout, and they're not taking any precautions, like, you know what I mean? And that bothered me. But now, I went to a restaurant the other day, and they had gloves, and everything was like over in this area, like everything. You could tell, like they're much more conscious, and that made me feel comfortable.
Changed dramatically.
Yeah, but that made me feel comfortable to do business with them. Okay.
Right.
And so, like, I think if we are to carry on and do inspections and things like that, then we should take precautions with gloves, and if you can get your hands on masks even. And I don't think that's going to be anything that's going to scare people. Like you tell them and actually advertise it as
and your protection.
Yeah, advertise it as a feature. Like look at what we're doing so that you can feel more comfortable to continue to do business and conduct business that's needed during this time. And so like I think you need to build out
the max right now though.
Right. But I think you need to build out an inspection division that you work hand in hand with. On the same token, my friend, you can't write, like 30 to 50 estimates per week and write them correct. And by the way, even if you could, you can do it. Like I've done this before, but then you have zero time to follow up with the adjusters to be held accountable for everything that you wrote. So on that note, you're going to have to build out an estimating division. Okay? Does this make sense? Like you're going to have an inspecting division and an estimating division. Those two teams work side by side, hand in hand. That's what you're going to have to do. So like, and then you're going to have to, set up a process for. This is something that I did before I went out into the field to do it on my own. So again, and many of my clients, I know it's tried and true, tested. Like, so you need an inspecting division, an estimate writing division, and a supplementing division, meaning people to do nothing but. So this is how I had it set up in my company at one time, my estimating company. Like I would have it set up to where the lead would come in after it was signed from one of my contractor clients. After it was signed and it was already a claim, and we had the first adjuster estimate, basically, like we had that first estimate, then it would become a new order, right? And the first part of it was inspector pending. We had to have the inspector go out, inspect it. The inspector would load all the results to the CRM and to like Google Drive with all the photos, drone footage, and then report back, okay, the inspection is completed, the results are in, and the estimate is pending. All right, so now we go on to the estimate. So it gets handed off to an estimate writer. An estimate writer would get assigned the claim. They would see all the inspection data. They would compile an estimate, right? From there, it would get submitted for approval internally, like from the company, right? So it was like awaiting approval.
Manager approves it.
That's right. So they would go through and you would approve it. Once it's approved, that same person who wrote the estimate would submit it to the insurance company.
Correct.
Does it make sense so far? So once that goes in, now after that, it gets assigned to a supplementer, right? Some people want to think of this as like a negotiator, but I do not like that term. We do not negotiate, right? So it's more like invoicing, right? Or invoice management is actually what we called it. But so that professional would be assigned the claim or the file, if you will. And now what they have at their fingertips, brothers, they have the Google Drive folder with all the photos and drone footage. They've got the original insurance estimate. They've got our estimate. They have all the CRM data, right? They could contact the sales rep if they need to. They can contact the inspector if they need to. They can contact the person who wrote the estimate if they need to. But then at that point, and they also have access to the email that was sent to the insurance company. So at that point, it's, hey, call the insurance company and find out, hey, calling about the estimate that we submitted on such and such, and calling to see if you've reviewed that yet, and if not, want to see what we can do to get you to get it reviewed. You know what I mean? And just following through that. And I think that somewhere else, this could be more internally outside of your purview, or it could be with one and the same too. But that's the mortgage stuff. So like when my sister, for example, used to work for me years ago, my younger sister, and her only job was to contact mortgage companies all day, every day to chase money. And I think that you're dealing with that kind of volume where that's required, but it could probably be dealt with like an accounts receivable type person internally.
And we've actually got all that set up already too.
Good.
So yeah.
Okay, so I think you've got to set all that up. Now, where I come into all this, I would approach you from one angle and say, well, listen, I have this, I have this IEScertified.com training course, but you know about it. But that's not going to help you through.
I know you.
But
I know you, Chad.
but that's not going to help you through this. Like you need more specific custom training. But that's why I asked if your company was footing the bill, because I think that you need the right kind of training. So.
No, I definitely agree. There's more than just the one step that we're missing.
Yeah, you need some. And it's a project. Like this is a project.
Yeah, like I said, I'm developing. But developing not only my position but my division.
Yeah.
And it is. And this company is very scalable, and they're gonna. I don't know if you noticed, but I work for. But they're rather large.
Yeah, I looked them up. I looked them up.
They and we're partners with the commercial side. We can access. We have all of their resources at our fingertips as well. And it's just a matter of, it's been, it just started the residential side 3 or 4 years ago, and they're still building up. And there's one guy, the GM, younger guy like me. I mean, I'm 36 now, and the GM and the sales manager were all around the same age. I just started. I knew the sales manager before. He was my brother-in-law, and he just knows my mindset and my skill set, and I don't know, I've been in this industry for a while, and I've worked with plenty of insurance claims, and I'm like that. I don't know, like a nerdy roofer or nerdy or whatever you want to call me.
That's funny. No, that's good. That's good. You're the perfect type, to have the position that you have, man. Honestly.
Right.
Well, look, I think. So, I'm trying to think. You're not in Dallas now, but that's okay because we're gonna have to do we're gonna have to do a lot of virtual things these days. And I'm sure you guys.
Sharing screens and all that fun stuff. I'm definitely familiar with all that fun stuff. That's for sure.
But I think as you develop this, what I'm going to propose to you, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit down and make a proposal to you, okay? And I'll send it over to you. And I mean, the company. Do they know about this already? Like, do they know about what you're doing?
I let my GM know.
Okay.
Because we've been looking into, and they've already had him out there for quite a while before this. The owner of, and they're pretty good friends, I guess, or something like
Good.
that. That guy is involved with some stuff, and
Good. So no, I just wanted to make sure that they had your blessing and they knew what you're doing.
Yeah,
I mean, because I think that's going to be crucial. Like they have to. They really have to step up for you on this. Like you got to go big here, and I'm not talking about with your training. I'm talking about the steps you're going to make, to go out there. But it's.
I don't think that they understand, where we're gonna, take this place.
Oh my gosh, dude! Like because of the amount of, I mean, it's like the people, you know, I won't mention names, but I hear people talk about, hey, we can help you with like, our average is a 30% increase across the board, like supplementing companies that are out there and stuff. Like to me, when I see that number, I'm like, and you're actually advertising that number? You know, like I'm thinking to myself, like I'm constantly coming in and doubling and tripling and quadrupling these things. So if you're only getting a 30% increase, that tells me that probably number one, you are doing a horrendous job at your inspections. Like you're not, you know what I mean? But anyway, so I think that my point is, this is going to absolutely, whatever position you create, if you created a handful of positions, 2 or 3 or whatever they are, that'll be the best decision anybody within the company ever made.
Yeah.
The way the numbers are going to go.
Right. Well, and the biggest hurdle I think that needs to be overcome is their desire not to do anything but the roof and the gutters. They want to keep it simple. They don't want to. I don't know. I mean, the potential is.
I'm gonna change whoever's mind needs to be changed on that with this, and you can pass it along. Okay.
Yeah.
If you can't convince them to do the interior work, I can understand that because having, you know, I mean, I'm a contractor now. You know, I can understand that. So like, I can understand not wanting to do the interior because if you've done the work, the difference between doing a roof in and out, you know what I mean, and the interior could be.
And you got a project manager and you got your supply house and it's done, you know, instead of multiple subcontractors and multiple invoices and da-da-da-da-da that have to be kept track of and you know, I guess they want to keep it simple, stupid, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I understand people wanting to have that model, okay, but let's just assume for a moment that you could continue that model. Great. Like if I were to come in and say, hey guys, great, love your model, continue it that way. However, if you're going to continue it that way, I would still submit to you that if you did the inspection right, you know, including all the interior stuff, like, so in other words, let's say you only want to do the exterior and the roof and all that, but as a part of your process, you went and did a proper inspection on everything on the inside.
Right.
You're helping the homeowner create all these additional items and funding. And now, let's say they don't want to use you to do the stuff on the inside, or if you don't want to do it, they still got to use somebody, or they're going to do it themselves, or they're not going to do it at all, and so they're ending up with only the ACV money. Well, that ACV money should be as high as humanly possible. You see what I mean? And if they have a $5,000 deductible, that could be the thing that covers the deductible. I'm not, to be clear, I'm not a proponent of doing it that way, but I'm just saying, if you were going to do it, there's still a major, it's like, I worked for a lot of companies when I was in sales in the very beginning. That's all they wanted to do was just the roof. And that's what got me alert to the inside stuff, was because I ran into so many clients that were like, hey, we have all this other damage, you know, we're going to have to go hire all these other contractors.
Oh, absolutely.
We'd love it if you could do it. And I just kind of, as I was learning the Xactimates and the estimating process, I could see that not only was everything short on the outside, but it was short on the inside too. And my
even more so.
Yeah, and my competition is going and seeing these water spots, and they're like, hey, don't worry, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, about the water spot. You just put some kills over that.
You just killed it, and then still, you know, paint it, touch it up, you're good.
Right, and me, I'm like, no, we're not putting kills on that. You've got to remove that piece of wet drywall.
Now, wait until we've had the inspection and done.
Yeah, like you have to remove that piece of wet drywall. You have to remove the wet insulation. You have to apply antimicrobial agent.
Conditions, you know.
That's it. You got to replace the insulation. You got to replace the drywall. You have to prime it. You have to match the texture. You have to paint the whole ceiling. Before you do any of that, 100%. Before you do any of that, you have to mask and tape the floor, contents, move out, then reset. You got to detach and reset the ceiling fan, the light fixtures, the HVAC registers, the smoke detectors. You know what I mean? So you can't once the client has been properly, taken care of, and all of those items have been included, then obviously the amount of money. So what these people are doing for that little kill spot, insurance company already paid a couple hundred, and they're like, look, you just put a little kills over it, take the couple hundred and shift that over to your roof. I mean, it just makes me sick to my stomach, So, but anyway, so I think that's the solution for
upgrade the roof.
Yeah, I think that's the solution for you, man. Is I'm assuming that, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but so you're looking for, like how to deal with rebuttals and how to do all that. But it sounds like you're looking for help to set up all these different things, these processes and stuff.
We have systems in place, and SOP, standard operating procedures that
for sure.
Documentation, and that all's going to come with time. Like learning this code. I already know 15, 18. International roofing, not roofing, but building codes and things like that. They're standard across the country, but
but you told me you were working on residential, so you need to be looking at the IRC,
right? That's true,
which is a part of the International Building Code, but it's in a different book.
Residential Building Code. So it's more so we need everything, basically.
Sure. Well, I think.
Ground up.
Yeah, what I would like to do, man, is I'm gonna propose something to you that'll be more like a real intensive, between 3 and 5 day, like full day stuff that I do with you guys, which includes going out into the field and helping. Like if I'm talking about setting up an inspections process, estimated writing process, supplementing process, then I would assume that I would have to help multiple people with each one of those facets.
See, I would think that instead of doing it in that fashion, that possibly, because if we're going to do it with not all the salesmen,
No,
Yeah, like the GM and the sales manager and myself,
and that's what I'm thinking, right? Like I'm thinking just, and even if it's just me and
team.
Yeah, even if it's just me and you, I think it's best to have some of the execs involved, right?
Right.
But even if it's just me and you, like if you were to hire a new inspector or a new estimate writer, if you wanted them to be involved, great. If not, great also. Like if you wanted them to get all of their training through you and the GM, that's perfect. You know what I mean? Like no problem.
Yeah.
So, but I think
we've got a lot of bad habits that we need to break.
But I think if it was that way, right, then it's me and you and and possibly the GM going and visiting physical inspections together, right?
Correct.
Don't you think?
Yep.
Okay. So like we try to spend more time on less time on that, more time on the planning and process and all that. But I think you kind of top it off with let's go do a trial run. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and same thing with the estimate writing, same thing with the supplement, let's deal with, a general way to classify rebuttals. Like you have basically one of 3 ways to respond to the adjuster's objection. We respond from, for example, the A bucket, the B bucket, or the C, ways that you scale it. But then, hey, let's do a couple of these calls. Let's tack a couple of these, live scenarios. But anyway, I think that I'm going to propose something that's more like a 3 to 5 day intense period, followed by just a monthly,
like a retainer.
Yeah, monthly consult, like where I'm available for you guys. We do so many different, I would normally say, what I normally say is I come to your office so many times per month, but I don't know that that's going to be the case. We may have to do that virtually these days, but.
Yeah, I don't want to see you.
Right. Like, I don't know that you guys want me coming around.
Right. I do, but I don't.
Right. But what's so cool though, man, is like there's never been a better time for the technology. Like if we have to train and learn from a distance.
It's all in place already. We're just getting a layer of skin off of the whole business.
Yeah, man. it can be an exciting time for us generally, but also for your company, like, and if it seems like they're a strong company, like they're built to last through this.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah, they are. It's going to happen. I mean, this is the first of multiple, locations. Once we get this scaled up to a certain dollar amount, then there's going to be another that gets scaled up, and then another that's scaled up, and another. It's just going to keep going until it's, it's going to be huge. So it's. I'm in the foundation right now that's being built for the whole company.
The infrastructure, right? The long-term infrastructure. Yeah, that's
all the SOP. All of our standing operating procedures are being developed. They've already got a lot of things in place, and now this is kind of just one of those puzzle pieces that hasn't even been thought of yet.
I think it's thrilling, man. It really is.
It is. So, I mean, and the company that I work for is the industry, and just a lot of aspects of the industry that they're a part of and members of and presidents, and it's crazy to even I don't know. I came from a little old company that was me and some crews and whatever that I subcontracted out to, and a lot of hard work, and everything is paid off. So
you get to experience a whole different angle now, huh? It's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. They were worried about me getting bored in this position. I was like, man, there's no way.
Careful what you wish for, right?
Yeah. So I'm a hands-on, worker. I bust my butt and get things done, and develop. I've developed my own Excel spreadsheets and all my own paperwork and everything with VLOOKUPs and the whole nine, right? But and this is just this is where this is my destiny, this is where I'm supposed to be right here. So
that's so awesome, dude. Seriously. I mean, like I have that feeling a lot. Like a couple things I've done in my life, I'm like, and I'm in the middle of one right now where I'm like, I feel like everything that I've done in my whole life has led me to where I'm at now. You know what I mean? Like where the stars are aligning. So I fully get it.
Previous mistakes and journeys and successes,
Yes, exactly. Well, listen, let me ask one final question to you. It's a simple question, but I think I know the answer. When are you looking to get this project started?
Oh, ASAP.
Okay. Well, I have your email. And if you'll give me an hour or so, I'm going to work up a proposal for you, and Perfect. I'll send it over to you. And I'm sure you probably have to go and share that with whoever you need to share it with.
Yep.
And if we need to make revisions to it, like as far as how I have it outlined, we could do that also. So, but that's where we'll start.
I'm sure it's going to be a little bit of peeling some people off the ceilings and things like that. But, you already saw your IES training and the monthly and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's this will be a little bit more intensive, and
well, what I'd like to do is what I normally do for situations like these is I normally try to give access to certain people within the company to that course also.
Right.
Just because I feel like I'm not even doing a good enough. Like, if I want you to succeed and you hired me to consult with you and I don't offer you that, you know what I mean? Like, you got to have that, Like, I feel like even we could even set up custom parts of that course for certain people within the company. Like, you don't want them to do if they don't handle certain parts of the inspections, estimates, supplements, but they do handle part of it, we can get custom courses set up for them.
Right.
In that way too, so
they aren't going to need all aspects of it,
Sure. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So it'll be definitely
it's going to be me kind of breaking it to them lightly, and kind of like explain to them.
They'll probably be excited about it, because I don't. Like, I can't go everywhere and I can't work for everyone, so there's only so many people I can do stuff like that for.
I understand. So. You're a busy man. You gotta be. I understand.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I hope I am, But no, I'm very grateful. Are you in
Dallas right now?
I'm in Dallas. I'm at my office in the Colony right now.
Right on.
I'm looking at 121 at Josie, and look, they're building an apartment complex next to me. They're up on their Genies and Skytrax and working.
Yeah.
Traffic's moving. We'll see how it goes, brother.
Yep, I hear you. Yeah, they're
Illinois just dropped too, man. Stay-at-home order.
Yeah,
Just,
I think Missouri is about to do one for the next 3 days.
Yeah, it's coming, man.
Yep,
So,
I know it. It's crazy.
we're gonna make
Martial
it.
law coming around here,
Yeah, we're gonna make it though, bro.
Yeah, I know. It's just the first time in our lifetime.
Yeah, we're gonna be all right. We just gotta.
But hell, man, I appreciate your time, and anything that I know something's gonna happen. If not everything,
Sure.
So.
Well, we'll start with a proposal, man, and we'll go from there. And if we'll try to craft something that's a perfect fit for our time, for the time that I have and your time and there's never been I'm excited about it because there's never been a better time for me. Like, I'm pretty much forced to get into more virtual training and consulting than I really was. I mean, I was hoping to jump into other things, to be honest. But
I mean, you seem like, I mean, you made all that stuff happen yourself, right? You've developed all this stuff.
I did. I
can tell, you put a lot of time and effort into all this stuff, and it's visually, and it's
For
not
sure.
just like hiring out a company or subcontractor.
Nah, yeah.
Things for you.
I'm very, that's what the practitioner is about, is like,
Right.
I'm extremely stubborn, man. Like I forced myself how to learn, or I forced myself to learn how to build a website. You know what I mean? Like several years, like all the websites I have were about 98%, like some of the graphics on a couple of them, I got some help, but about 98% of it is made and built by me.
All the JavaScript and the metadata and
everything.
SEO and everything.
Every bit of it, everything.
The schema. I mean, I did the same thing.
And we got tags on keywords on every YouTube video, every piece of social media, every video that I do editing is mostly filmed by me, edited by me, like the whole 9 yards, man. It's really, it's not smart. It's a weakness of mine. You know what I mean? Like,
did you possibly do it? But
yeah, it's not like I write my own estimates and I do my own stuff, but it's, I don't know. I hopefully can be cured of that stubbornness.
The heart of an overachiever, right there.
It's not an advantage, dude. It's a bad thing. Like, I gotta work on some of that.
Those, it's hard to depend on people. First off,
it is, but yeah, I've just, I enjoy doing it more. I really do sincerely have a passion for it. And that's my advice to anybody. Don't do what you don't love, man.
No, absolutely. This is, I've been told before that they knew that I was in the right position at the right time. And
it just gears you up, doesn't it? You get all fired up over it.
Exactly. I know.
That's awesome, dude.
They had me do like some crazy personality test before I got this position. It was like 80 pages long, and it tells you all about your secret self and your unknown self. And
really?
And I was like, man, that makes me look like a freaking superstar right there.
Nice.
I don't know. It was just, like you said, it just gets you going. You know what I mean?
Sure. That's awesome, man. Well, I would love, projects like these, I love them, man. Because I want to make the most difference and the biggest impact that I possibly can with whatever it is that I'm doing.
Shoot, that testimonial is huge.
Dude, I mean, like, I just love to be able to take something like, whenever there's such a potential to make such a big difference.
They don't have it in place at all. And they're already, they're doing, millions of dollars right now.
Yeah, that makes me get, a little bit fired up right there. So I'm definitely in, I'm definitely interested in the project, and I'll send you over the stuff, and we'll see what you guys think, and I'll go from there.
Right on, man. No, I'm gonna sell it to him. So, and like I said, I don't know what all I'm gonna get sold to him, but it's gonna be something.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Once we get your foot in the door, and we start working, I think that it's just a matter of time before they go ahead and say, all right, fuck it, let's do it all.
Well, that's and dude, one of the things I like to always do to anybody in these consulting scenarios is I don't do anything long term. Like I put everything in. I always give. It's not for me. It's for the client. The ability to cancel it at any time. Like if you want to stop it, you don't like it, you're not comfortable. Why would I want to keep going? You know what I mean? So like and I'm that way in business. Like if a client doesn't love me anymore, I don't want to be married. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's end this
I
thing.
don't like you. I don't want to work with you either.
That's it. I don't want to be anywhere where I'm not wanted, you know? So,
exactly.
So I don't have any traps built into any of my deals that I do. Like, it's pretty straightforward. You want to get out? Let's get out, you know?
Yeah.
So, all right, man. Well, I'll send you something over, and if you have any questions about it, feel free to shoot me back a message or give me a shout, and we'll just take it from there.
Thank you, Chad.
In the meantime, stay safe.
All right, you too, sir.
All right, brother. See ya.
Bye.